Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Tabia Show. Thank you so much for viewing today. I have a great guest on. Her name is Aurellia Anderson, and she's calling from Sacramento, California. Hi, Aurellia. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hi, Tabia. Thank you so much for having me.
And this is a treat. I mean, you are a public speaker, a motivator, teacher, minister, author, and entrepreneur, and a mother. How do you do it all?
I don't do it all, okay? I have a great team of people that help me called my family. They're awesome. I have a great support system in coworkers and colleagues, my church family. And the number one reason of how I'm able to really do it all is my faith, my spiritual life. There are days that I can't do it all, and I really lean on prayer, and I lean on, the power of God to be able to get through it all.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I know that you really are dedicated to helping people discover their purpose and identify ways that they can live their better life. And in doing so, you are the owner and president of Hidden Gem. And I want you to talk about a little bit about Hidden Gem and, why did you create that company?
I created Hidden Gem in 2008. It actually birthed out of my first book, The Journey, Past, Present, and Future. When I was in the midst of writing that book, I feel like I was at the lowest low of my life. I had just experienced a marital separation. My child was a year old, and I was feeling that worthiness that sometimes others, they're able to, they just have it, and it's just in them. And I had it, but mine was a little diminished. And so I was like, I am a gem. I am a jewel, but it was hidden at that time. And so that was the birth of Hidden Gem, just knowing that I am a gem, and sometimes it's hidden, but it takes a group of people, a community, to help us find that gem. And then also hidden gems, like they say, is, those nuggets, those things that we don't really quite know, but they're there. And so that's me. That's the company. It's for women. It is in order to inspire and motivate and activate women to really live their life in and on purpose, and to use the community to help create that message and get that message out there.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I was actually on Facebook yesterday, and I don't know if you're familiar with Damon John. He's the author of The Power of Broke. And he was talking about Tyler Perry's video called You're Being Hidden on Purpose. And I thought that was, aligned with the hidden gem, right, that you talk about. Tyler Perry says, if you are struggling and fighting to be seen, sometimes you are supposed to be hidden. It is not your time to be seen yet, but stay the course, learn what you can, and at the right time, God will reveal your talents and everything you have done for this world. So it really is, in that time, it's taking the time to prepare you, that spiritual growth, a little bit of, that growth is going to help you get to where you need to be when it is your time to be seen, right? And I love that. What do you think about that?
I mean, I totally agree. Tabia, the thing is, in the culture that we live in of social media, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, where you can be famous in 5 minutes with just a 20-second video. And we're wanting to be seen. We're wanting to be heard. And in some instances, that's great. We do need to raise our voices. Social justice issues. We need to be heard. We need civil rights issues. We need to raise our voices. We need to be seen. And then there are those times that we're not ready to be seen. We're not ready to be heard because we haven't been refined.
I love it.
And I feel like, I see the Cicely Tysons of the world. I see, she is in her 80s, in her 80s, 90s. Her career started way back when, but she's gotten to a place. I see the Oprah Winfrey. She started in her 20s, but really in her 50s is when she hit hit that magic
right.
million, you know? And so not everybody needs to be front and center all the time immediately. Because like you see certain leaders, they get there to that place too soon and they will soon fall because they're not ready.
They're not ready.
So I 100% agree. I feel, even for myself, I don't feel like I have arrived at anything. I still have, you know, I make this comment, like there are times that my car is not always clean. Like I have toy trucks and basketballs and I have, you know, books, and it's not, my life isn't where, you know, one would think, you know, I haven't arrived. There are still areas in my life that need to be perfected. So we let God place us and put us in position for that purpose that we are called to be and do.
And I think this is a perfect time to talk about your book. I love your book, your new book. It's called Lipgloss, Blazers, and Shoes. It's perfect for what we just talked about.
I'm sorry, my dog. So my dog, this is, you know, doing it all. My dog just got excited, and so he is barking.
He saw that, you know, he felt our energy, right? We were talking about the book. He felt our energy. We were talking about the book.
Yes.
But I think it's perfect to talk about your book, because your book really is a great book especially for women, but also for young girls that are looking for a mentor, looking for a guide, right? For really dropping jewels of knowledge, and you're really dropping jewels of knowledge in this book. And so I wanted to just ask you, why did you entitle it Lipgloss, Blazers, and Shoes?
You know, that is a great question. And so even for me, if anyone knows me, they know I am like the most basic of basics. And so I don't like getting all dolled up. I don't like wearing heels. I really don't like blazers. I feel like they're just so restrictive. But me and makeup, we have this love-hate relationship. So it was literally one day when I was, it was for a photo shoot, and I was getting all dressed up, and I'm like, all I need is lip gloss and I'm good. And then I was sparking a conversation, and I said, you know, all lipstick does is just, it just makes things not dry on my lips and functional, but my image is still my image. And so from there, when I was writing the book, I wrote the book, I had a totally different title. And then when I was looking at identity, I remember the conversation about me and makeup and lip gloss. And so the idea behind it was just that this is all about who we are and what it really means to be a woman, and a woman who knows she has a purpose in life. Sometimes she needs help to find it, to enhance it, and to stick with it.
And I wanted to ask you, because you talked about identity, and I wanted to read just a quick passage from your book. It says, "What is being fabulous? Being fabulous is being you, that you are created, being the you that you are created to be. It is not about putting on someone else's persona. It is about being just the way you are without apology. Don't get me wrong. This means no apology. This no apologies mentality is not permission to be rude or disrespectful to other women, right? It's simply allowing the world to see the fullness of your personality as it is without apologizing for it." I love that. So what is being fabulous to you?
Being fabulous to me.
I'm sure a lot of women, you know, I want to pose that to our viewers. What is being fabulous to you? What does that mean to you?
I would love for the viewers to chime in and be part of this discussion, because being fabulous is so subjective. And the problem in society today, if I'm getting on my little soapbox, is that people are promoting what fabulous is, and then you have 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 35-year-olds trying to be this fabulous that the media has created, when being fabulous is about being completely and totally you.
And right, and it has no, and this they're taking on this persona that has is not aligned with who God has created them to be, has what God has in store for you, right? And so it's not authentic. They've taken on this persona that's not authentic.
You know, in that same chapter, Live Out Who You Really Are, it's talking about that. We're done with counterfeits. I'm not inspired by counterfeits. My luncheon that I'm actually having this Saturday, I have women who, they're all different. They have different professions, but they're living out who they really are unapologetically. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that they're all, you know, they're older ladies. We won't, you know, talk about their ages, so to speak, but they're matured women. And I think that's very interesting because there is something to say about younger women. They're far and few in between who are really living out who they really are. They really are searching. And so this book, Lipgloss, Blazers, and Shoes, it really is for a younger woman who is really trying to figure out who she really is and what that means to live in America being fabulous. And this goes for men too. This is not, even though the book may be tailored to women, the whole idea and concept of knowing who you are and your purpose, it's for everyone. Mm-hmm. Because pre-midlife crisis, pre-midlife crisis. So I'm a therapist trainee, a marriage family therapist trainee, and one thing that I've really been studying and researching is identity and motivation. And part of that, it's pre-midlife crisis. So in about the 20s and 30s, individuals are having a crisis because they're like, I don't know who I am, what I'm gonna do in life.
And they see other people's lives progressing, in which their perception, right? They're perceiving, they're looking onto others people's lives, not knowing their story or what they have to, what they're going through or what they have to do to keep what they have.
Right.
Judging, right? And so they're like, well, what is wrong with me? Why am I not at this mark of being married or and having the type of career that I desire or the job I desire? And so it's like that kind of the envious type of mentality, but yet you don't know what this person has to do or what is doing to get what they have.
You know, I made a social media graphic about, you don't know, don't be so envious about what's on the other side of the fence. The grass is green on the other side, because guess what? They have to mow their own lawn.
Yes.
So you can envy what they have over there, but they're the ones that have to maintain it. Mm-hmm. So my grass may be brown. That's because I'm not maintaining it. Mm. Their grass is green because they go and get the fertilizer, they pay the gardener, they water it. In California, we're in a drought, and so, we have to sometimes sneak and water our grass not on our day, right? So, but they do what they need to do to keep their grass green. So keep your own grass green. Take care of it, right? Which means tend to your own self. Take care of your own self.
Mm-hmm. And it really goes back to confidence too. As you also talked about confidence in your book, and I love how you said the foundation of confidence is the Lord. I'm gonna say that again. The foundation of woman's confidence in your book is the Lord. What do you think about that? When you were writing that, what were you thinking?
A lot of my writing came out of conversations that I had with individuals, my own struggles, my own issues that I've had, my own successes. And so probably when I think of this, I was reading Joyce Meyer's book, The Confident Woman. And it really just made me think about my own confidence, and then where am I getting my confidence from? Because not everyone is a Christian. Not everyone has a faith value or adherence. For me, my confidence comes in knowing that I am not the end all be all, but my confidence also knows that I was created by God. And so if I'm created in God's image, if I'm created by God, and when God created, humankind, created humankind good, therefore in essence, I am good. Mm-hmm. And so if I live my life knowing that I am good, then that means everything that I do, I can take it to the bank because God is with me.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful. I mean, if people can really understand that their confidence God has the master plan. God is like, and it goes back to being hidden, right? And your talents being hidden. Sometimes you have to just take that time to realize what is God want you to do with your God-given talents, right? We have these talents. Some of us don't discover what our true talents are until their 40s or 50s, right? Some of us are blessed to know our talents very early on. I mean, you see with Steve Harvey's show, he has these kids that are genius, and they have discovered their talents from early age. And some of us, need some mentoring, need some coaching when it comes to finding out what their talents are. And when you look into the Lord, or when you go to church, or when you realize that your confidence comes from the Lord and your God-given talent, comes from the Lord, that gives you a little bit more confidence. That can, you say, well, God has a master plan for me. I just have to figure it out. I have to pray about it, meditate about it. And you talk about that also in your book as well, meditation in the chapter that talked about blazers, right? You talked about peace and clarity and meditating. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's an excellent point to give to the viewers that are watching.
Yes, and so I really get a lot of I'm like you mentioned all these different hats that I wear and roles that I play, but I believe that is it's a God thing. I didn't set out to be a chaplain, but I'm a clinical chaplain. I work in the hospital. I was hospice chaplain, and now I'm a marriage family therapist trainee. And one tool that we use is meditation for anxiety. Mm-hmm. And in that, meditation and prayer. Meditation, it is literally a quieting of the mind and focusing on something else that is peaceful. What that does is it centers us. It gets us back into a position that is to our basic core of being. And when you are able to quiet yourself, focus on an image that brings peace. I'm actually working with a 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. And one tool that we're using for her anxiety is meditation. Mm-hmm. And when we're centered, when we're focused, then we can receive and then we can hear direction. In the Blazer section, it's all about self-development. I know for me, it's something that I am constantly trying to do is improve. I am constantly trying to improve my character because I don't wake up smiling every single day. Well, that's not true. I do wake up smiling, but I will say that I am always like the happiest in the morning.
And you put that in your book too, to start with self-care, right? Kind of starting off your day right in the morning, especially in the morning, taking time for yourself in the morning. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is on my goal. That is literally a goal of mine. Every quarter, I'm in school. Every quarter is self-care. I'm not good at it. I'm just not. But it's something that I'm constantly aware of, and I'm trying to achieve. One thing I like about myself. We have to like things about ourselves. One thing I like about myself is that I know my struggles. I know my challenges. But I don't let it make it an excuse to quit, to give up, and I don't use it as an excuse for others to feel sorry for me. Mm-hmm. But I'm very self-aware, and I think sometimes that gets people a little uncomfortable because I'm so self-aware of myself. Like I know what makes me tick, I know what makes me happy, I know what irritates me. I know all of that, and part of that is meditation, self-care. Knowing when to say no, that is another thing that I'm learning.
That's a big one that we all have to learn. No, period. I think we say
no period, not comma.
Yeah.
Say no comma.
No period. And you have to really figure out where you're putting your time and your energy. I think especially in the honor of Women's History Month, I just really want to talk about, women and how we can take on everyone else's responsibility. And sometimes we forget about the self-care that we need for ourselves, right? For the image that we want to project. And sometimes we need we need, quote unquote, a makeover, but it goes so deeper than just a makeover, going to the makeup counter. And that's what I want to really talk about with the show. And getting that is that it takes time to work on yourself, your authentic personal brand, meditating, figuring out what God has in store for you, coming in so in tune with who you are, taking time for yourself, and saying no, like you said, saying no. And then, it's kind of like the cocoon stage. It's like with the butterfly. It's like you need time to really figure it out. That's your cocoon stage, right? Sometimes you're hidden, your juices are hidden, and you're perfecting, you're being refined. And then you have to do the brand work. You have to do the work. It's work. To get to where you want to be, it's going to take work. And so you have to have strategy. Right? And so sometimes you need to have an accountability partner. And, that it could be a coach. It could be someone that you are paying for their time, but you really know that you're going to get results with this person because of the expertise in this area. Or you can have someone that, a church member, someone that you're close with. It could be your sister, it could be a relative, it could be anyone, but that person has to have the same kind of drive as you. You really have to hold each other accountable to doing the brand work, right?
So that's key. That is key what you just said. Someone who is on the same page, has the same vision as you, because even though we talk about how can two walk together unless they agree, we're always talking about that in the context of marriage, but it goes for absolutely any relationship, any covenant relationship, and especially with accountability. It's not just someone who looks good, someone who's popular, someone who's rich, someone who's famous. It's someone who has the same goal and vision that you have to be your accountability partner, to do this work with you, to help you be refined, to help you, put on your shoes, make sure you have on the right shoes, that for the journey ahead. Yes.
Right. And it takes that accountability partner for you to do the work. And then you start seeing that progress. You see yourself starting to come out of that cocoon, and you're slowly but surely seeing you're finding yourself. And this is when it's time to think about your image, because a lot of us want to be seen, but we don't have the right image to match what is it that our end goal is, right? So then you have to hire an image consultant, or think about your image and how your image is the colors that you wear, right, on camera, or you want to like you said, photo shoots, right? Some of us aren't as comfortable with photo shoots, right? How to pose and things like that for your speaker sheets, or for your business cards, or for your website, that you want to have a website. So when you think about branding, you also have to think about your image, right? And the colors that you wear, the type of personal style, get in tune with also your personal style and what's comfortable for you. Because if you're not comfortable in your skin or what you're wearing, it's not going to project. You're not going to have that confidence that comes out on business meetings, presentations that you give at work, and just in conversations at networking events, right? So you always want to have your image, have that match the type of end result, the bottom line that you want. So now you see yourself doing that work. You see yourself now pushing out of that cocoon, and now you're a butterfly, right? You're soaring. But even a butterfly has to have accountability partners. That butterfly still has to have that refinement process, because where you are now is hopefully not where you're going to be 5 or 10 years from now, right?
It shouldn't be. We should always be progressing and moving forward.
Right. So even if you're soaring high, you're a beautiful butterfly, you still have to have that refinement. And that's what I want everyone to talk about. And in your book, you also talked about being a mentor, right? And how you were at Starbucks. I want you to tell that story, how you were at Starbucks. And you saw the two young guys with their pants down, and I really want to hone in on, even when you become that butterfly, you have to give back. I think as a generation, this generation, a lot of things have changed, and for their role models are reality TV, and so you kind of have to. They're living in this reality world, and so as a butterfly, as that person, that expert in your field, you always have to give back to the younger generation, because you cannot think that they know it all.
Right.
Some people are blessed with having mentors, beautiful, perfect mentors, right? At every stage of their life. Some people aren't as fortunate. So don't think, don't come with the expectation that everyone knows everything. It takes a person to give back. And so if you see someone out, like you were at Starbucks, and I want you to talk about that, but if you see someone and you're out and you need to drop jewels of knowledge, then that's what you need to do.
You mentioned that Starbucks. I did write about that in the book. And so for your audience, I was at Starbucks, which is my weakness. Yes, Lord. I'm working on it. And there were these this is a few years ago, one young men, looked like they were in high school. And they were just coming in to get some water. And they had, their pants were like all the way down. Now listen, I know the ins and outs of what it means to sag and the history of it and all the drama. I get it. I'm fine. No judgment. However, I don't need to see your underwear, young Black man. And so, I was like, why are your pants down? And it was just, they're like, who is this talking to me? Like this, like I was talking to them like I was literally their teacher, their auntie. And they're like, oh no, ma'am, and then they start pulling it up and it's fashion. I say, listen, I get it. I hear you. However, your underwear, that's just inappropriate. And I think you should pull it up. And they're like, you're right. And then I just simply said, can I buy you something? Because they were just getting water, which is a lot what the teens do in my neighborhood. And they were like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And I told the lady, I said, what did they want? Just, I let them get it. And we went from there. But I say that to say not everybody needs to buy somebody from Starbucks. Not everybody needs to tell somebody what to do with their clothes. They can do whatever they want with their clothes. However, it's about me knowing my purpose. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like my purpose is also with helping individuals see and helping them be more mindful and aware of why they do what they do. And part of the work that I am doing in the community that I am in, I'm a high school cheer coach and cheerleading coach. But I see my role as just a lot more, just being able to engage and connect with our young people. There, we actually had a tragedy that occurred. One of our students was shot. And then he came in the community, but then they drove him and his friend, they drove him back to our campus because they knew they could get help there. And then one of my cheerleaders called me, coach, someone's just been shot. And I came to because I live close to the in high school, which is my former high school. And I was there to able to help bridge the gap between the students and the professionals, like the chaplains and the therapists. And while it's something as small as a cheer coach, I was really able to be present with the students and to help this urban young population not be afraid of others that look different than them, of religious individuals, of therapists. Helping their families, because in the African American community, which this school predominantly is, within the African American community, we don't seek mental wellness help, and that is something I'm very strong about.
Yeah, and I know you talk about you really do a lot of work with bridging the gap between spirituality and mental health, and I love that.
I do. I'm a big believer in churches, religious communities, mosques, temples. Everyone getting involved with mental wellness, because everything, whether you believe that it is a spiritual reason why you're having a mental illness or a chemical biological one, it all can help. Your religious faith can help, and then you can also know what the brain is doing and why it's making you behave in certain ways, and then knowing that the only treatment is not medical. The only treatment is not using medication. It also can involve some spiritual tools as well. So I'm trying to make it less hostile. But I think community work is very important. I think every individual needs to be involved in their community in some capacity, even if it's running the website of a community center, whatever it is, whatever you can do, I think you need to do it.
And you also talked about lack of purpose. And I wanted to ask you, do you think that lack of purpose is related to, you know, your image? Is it, you know, you said about the boys in your book, you know, that they lacked some type of purpose, or they looked kind of lost, right? And do you think that there's a correlation or a relationship between, you know, how you feel about that lack of purpose, and maybe if they had some purpose, they had, you know, they knew where they were going with their life, they would pull up their pants, right? Do you think that there's a relationship there?
I think there is a relationship, you know, and the pulling of the pants is so controversial. You know, I have a lot of great friends.
I mean, that could be for anything. It could be
no, but I agree.
You know, not wearing revealing outfits, or, you know, that pulling of pants is just a one part.
Well, no, seriously, because the thing is, so Megan Good, she's been in the hot seat for her attire, and she's a pastor's wife, and, you know, and she's really advocating for leading a spiritual life. And so I think clothing is such a touchy subject, but I think it can speak volumes, because it is about image. What is on our outside, right, reflects what's going on in the inside. And even if it's not so much a direct reflection, it's about what we think about what's going on the inside, and then what we see on the outside.
But do you think that maybe the answer could be, you know, if we want this generation, or if we want those that are, you know, going to dress accordingly to a dress code, that they need to understand the why and where they're going, to link it to a purpose. So, you know, when I talk about dress codes, you know, what is the purpose of the dress code? The dress code is to make sure that everyone has a sense of belonging, has, you know, the focus is not on necessarily the clothing per se, but is on the bottom line, right? And or that mission of the school, right? So if you're talking about for students, what is the mission of the school? What is the atmosphere that you want to attain, you know, that with the dress code? So having a dress code, having that link to some type of purpose.
It is. You know, I definitely agree. So in one of my roles, one of my jobs, when I am going to a staff meeting and when I'm in the office, I'll wear slacks, or I'll wear a skirt, I'll wear a dress, I'll wear clothing that's more, you know, considered professional attire, business attire. When I'm going out with the youth to do rehabilitation, and we are going to go to the mall, you know, to help them fill out applications, I'll wear jeans, and I'll probably wear my LeBrons. And so it is about purpose. What is your purpose for the day? That's how I will dress. And so,
and knowing your audience as well.
Exactly. And it's like, let's broaden that to like our overall purpose in life. If your overall purpose is to, you know, be a CEO of your own company, then you know that what you portray, whether it's what comes out of your mouth, what you speak, what you say, how you deliver it, is going to hurt or help you obtaining that level that you need to get of owning a business, getting through all the red tape, getting employees, getting investors. You see what I'm saying? So but it's about knowing where you're going first. You have to know what you want to do in life, what you've been called. And I believe that we've all been called to touch the world in a certain way. And we may have many different purposes throughout our life. Like Oprah, I go back to her because she started off one way and she's at a different place now, but she has that same mission statement for her life, to be able to reach the world through media. And so,
yeah, and to realize when you talk about authentic personal branding, you know, you really do create the life that you want. You create the image that you want, and so but you can't create unless you really write it down. I urge everyone that's in the audience right now is to write down 1 or 2 goals for yourself. when it comes to your brand and your image. Okay, when we talk about authentic personal branding, you need to devise, which I call the BIA plan, BIA brand plan, right? And how are you going to be this brand? What is it that your goal is for your company? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a teacher? Where are you professionally, but also where do you want your brand to go? And so you have to write that down. You start devising a plan, and which I can help you with after just email me media@tabiacoachshows.com, and I'll help you with that, and just writing down some of these goals, right? So you really do create the life that you want, but you have to do the work. Remember I talked about the cocoon stage, doing the work, and then become that butterfly. And that's because you have to be committed to the work. It's not just about going to the mall and having the sales associate help you with your clothes. Yes, that's fine, but you want to know the reason behind why you need these clothes, right? It gives you more purpose and fulfillment when you're able to go shopping. Even when you go shopping for clothes, if you have a goal in mind or a personal style for yourself that you already hashed out with your image consultant, you have that vision of, okay, this is my purpose for going to the mall today. You're gonna see that you're not just gonna purchase everything, or you're gonna have to take it back. You'll be very deliberate with all your purchases, and you'll see that will help your bottom line, right? So I want everyone to start thinking about, okay, so what is the bottom line to everything that I do when it comes to my brand and when it comes to my image?
Okay, so let me say something about that. And I know our time is limited, but that is a great analogy, because here's Aurellia and shopping. So I hate shopping. So anytime that I have to go and purchase something, I think sales associates, they hate to see me coming, because I'm very direct. I'm in a zone, and I don't waste time. And I know my size. I know I know the size I am. I know what will definitely not fit. I know what type of material will not work well on my body size and the way that it looks on me. I know what I don't like. I know what I can't afford. I am very specific. And anytime I'm going to go, I know exactly what I'm looking for. And so that's just
the event that you're going to as well.
Exactly. Like, I have a purpose, and I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing and where I'm going. And so when I can get into this store that has all this stuff, and I have other people coming at me wanting me to do something, I can say, thank you, but no thank you. I'm here for this. Oh, you don't have that? Okay, thank you, goodbye. And I will go somewhere else. And we need to be that vigilant about our purpose and our time and what we're doing. And that is the learning curve that I'm in right now. Is I'm very clear. And so now it's about shopping.
Know what you want, right?
And really be vigilant about not letting anyone waste your time selling you something that you know you don't want.
Yes, say that again. I want you to say that again. That is profound.
Our time with anybody trying to sell you something that you know you don't want and that you don't need.
And that goes back to relationships too. So all of this applies to different areas in our life, right? So even with relationships, we just came out of February love, February, March, and people were talking about love in February. And so even when it comes to relationships, do not go for the okie doke when it comes to relationships. These people will sell you dreams, and so you have to know where you want to go. So people do not give you the okie doke. You're not wasting your time, your money, your energy on people. It goes back to girlfriends, relationships, right? Even these relationships that you have with other women, and with women, I find are the most dynamic relationships I've ever encountered, because when that mutual respect isn't there, of just the time and energy that you're putting towards a relationship or a friendship, it's off balance. And so you really need to be clear with what is it that you want out of a relationship, your professional life, all of that, because that, when I say goes back to the bottom line of what is it that you're trying to achieve.
and even families. And so one reason why I really love my book is because it covers a lot of different areas. It covers relationships. It covers family, parent-child relationship.
Lip gloss, blazers, and shoes, everyone. And if you're watching right now, and if you don't have the book, you can get 20% off of the book. And Aurellia, let them know how they can purchase the book.
They can purchase the book on my website, www.hiddengemcompany.com. It's very simple. Hidden, HIDDENGEMCOMPANY. Hidden Gem Company. You can always find me on Facebook, Aurellia CA, Instagram, Twitter.
What is your email so they can get the link for your for the 20% off?
Sure. The link is info@hiddengemcompany.com. Very simple. info@hiddengemcompany.com. The secret word that you will put in that email is lip gloss, blazers, and shoes 2. The number 2 afterwards.
Okay, great. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, I really, truly believe everyone that is watching and that will watch this show, will really get clarity on how to, work on their brand, work on their image, work on their confidence. And I love that you said the foundation of confidence is the Lord. Taking time to meditate on your authentic personal brand. I mean, if you didn't get anything else from this, I want you to think about how to meditate on what is it that you want, where you want your brand to go, and contact me, contact Aurellia, and sometimes you need a coach to help you get through all of this.
Reach out to me. I am here to speak with you, to just encourage you to know your identity and your purpose.
Well, thank you so much. And until next time, everyone, keep styling, keep looking good. And till next time, see you later.